Hello everyone, Charles Watts here, the Arsenal correspondent at Goal, joining you on Friday. Hope all is well and you're having a good end to the week. Of course, Arsenal drawing 2-2 last night in the first leg of their round of 16 Europa League clash at Sporting Lisbon. So we're going to talk about that today. I'll go through my player ratings and we'll have a little bit of a look forward to the Fulham game, but I'll try and do a video tomorrow focusing on that one a lot more. Last night's game, interesting game, wasn't it? Weird game in a way, exciting game, open, scrappy, not the greatest of football matches, but quite an exciting one nonetheless. I think Arsenal pretty happy to come back with a 2-2 draw because it's a game they easily could have lost. They were far from their best yesterday. Perhaps not surprising, Mikel Arteta making 6 changes, so it was a very different team. Some players playing who haven't played for a while. Vieira making his debut. Turner hadn't played for a while, and understandably they looked a little bit rusty. And I thought Arsenal's performance probably suffered as a result. Gave away some poor goals, and that is it's a bit of a recurring theme at the moment with Arsenal. They're giving away some sloppy goals that they really don't need to be conceding. And if you're going to be conceding 2 goals a game, which Arsenal like I said, becoming a little bit too regular. You're going to struggle to win too many matches. You can't keep scoring 3 goals in a game. You need to shut up shop. It's what Arsenal was so good at earlier on in the season or first half of the season. But just lately, they've been doing some pretty stupid things at the back. And last night, again, they did that. I mean, the first goal was just awful. I think it had to be a bit of a miscommunication between Turner and Vieira. I kind of hope for Vieira's sake that Turner did call for it because, well, he should have done that, and I'm sure he must have done, because the way Vieira seemed to sort of just decide not to attack the ball and not head the ball and almost duck underneath it, it just had all the sort of hallmarks of a defender who had heard his goalkeeper call that he was coming to claim it, and then he didn't claim it, and it just looked like a terrible goal to concede. You know, the guy, I think it was about 4 yards out in the centre of the 6-yard box when he headed it. I mean, the keeper should have been there. It should have been all over that ball. Clean out your own defender, clean out the man, punch it, get it clear. But for kind of Vieira just to stand there and duck, Turner to just basically do nothing, it was just a really awful goal to concede. And, you know, when you've worked hard to get yourself in front in Europe, away from home in a difficult place to go, you don't want to be conceding goals like that. It's just really poor. And the second one wasn't much better as well. And it came at a time when Arsenal had actually started the second half pretty well and were on top. And then they just got picked off on a counter-attack, didn't really clear their lines. Almost conceded just before that with one shot that Turner, I seem to remember Turner saved it or something, or Saliba had made a really good clearance and sort of slid in and after a counter-attack, and you thought, oh, they got away with it, but then Sporting recycled the ball and ended up scoring anyway. And again, it's just a little bit slack. And, you know, Mikel spoke about it afterwards. He said, he said, we conceded too many simple goals. We've talked about the importance of our boxes, especially in the competition where you are in or you are out. Today, we didn't defend that well enough, and we have to do better against our opponents. We've had a lot of really emotional games recently, and today we made a lot of changes, meaning the cohesion needs some time. He was asked in a press conference afterwards about the set pieces, and he kind of looked back, obviously conceded a goal against Man United from a set piece, conceded last night from a set piece, conceded against Bournemouth from a set piece. Brentford was a set piece, wasn't it? You know, it's too many. And Arsenal had such a good record over the first half of the season. They didn't concede a single one, I think, from a set piece. And now suddenly they're happening time and time again. And Mikel said it's true that it's something we must improve dramatically in the next few games if you want to keep winning, because you can't be allowing people to have free headers. Did it against Bournemouth, and yesterday was almost a carbon copy of that. Just no one really picking up the runner, no one attacking the ball, and the guy's just got free headers 6 yards out. And at the very top level, you can't be giving away goals like that on, you know, more than once or twice a season. So they've got to sort it out, and they've got to do it very quickly and get back to the sort of form defensively that they were in the first half of the season, because you just can't continue to concede 2 goals a game. It's just not. It doesn't go with a successful team, and hopefully that is something that Arsenal will sort out. And, you know, it's what Mikel certainly spoke about afterwards. So you know that, you know, I'm sure he's going to be drumming it into him on the training ground. On the actual game itself and the sort of competition, he said, look, we are not giving up on the Europa League. We have had to go against a few issues that we've had in the last few days where we've lost a few players. We lost 3 or 4 of our strikers. But in this competition, if you want to go through, you're going to have to go through difficult moments. We knew that. We are alive. Everything is still to play for at the Emirates, and hopefully we will play better and deserve to win the game. I don't think it was a bad result by any means yesterday. Whenever you go away in Europe, if you come back with a draw, it's not a terrible result. You know, these are difficult places to go. Lisbon, not had the best of seasons, but on a good run at the moment. They've beaten Spurs there this year. I think they're at about 8 unbeaten going into the game. You know, you don't just roll up to Sporting and roll them over. It just doesn't really work like that. You've got to work hard to get past a team like them over the 2 legs. And so I think Arsenal becoming back to England today, thinking, you know what, that could have been worse. It's not the worst result. Let's finish the job at the Emirates. And you would think the game is going to be very, very different at the Emirates. Arsenal are going to have more control next week than they did last night. But I think we certainly saw enough from Sporting yesterday to suggest they're going to be a real threat, certainly on the counter-attack. They do break with speed. Marcus Edwards, again, every time I see him play for Sporting, he looks lively. I thought he was yesterday. And they're going to cause Arsenal problems next week. So Arsenal are just going to have to defend better, and they're going to have to be a little bit more of a threat going forward. I mean, Saliba I thought was excellent yesterday. I thought he was by far and away the standout player on the pitch. Especially given he was alongside Vieira, who looked, you know, understandably rusty, nervous, whatever you want to call it, on his debut. And I thought, given he was with a new central defensive partner he's never played with before, I thought Saliba played very, very well defensively, and it obviously scored the goal with a really good header as well. So I thought he was a standout player, but I thought Fabio Vieira played well as well. He was the one player in attack that I always felt like might make something happen. He got the assist for Saliba's goal. I think he was lively, he was finding space, he was causing Sporting problems, he was pulling them out of position. Very, very close to scoring in the second half with one shot that went just wide from just outside the box, and I think he would have deserved that goal had he scored it. And I just thought it was another kind of example that it feels like Vieira's beginning to settle a little into this squad now. He's had a mixed first season at Arsenal, didn't help with it, he was injured at the beginning, came into the side, looked, you know, showed flashes of his quality, then had a really difficult patch over the sort of middle half of the season, I thought. But I think the last month or so, we've seen a lot more for Vieira when he has played. And I thought he was decent last night. I thought he was Arsenal's standout attacking player. Mikel was speaking about him afterwards, said we're really happy with him. I think he deserves more minutes than he's had, especially in the last 2 months. Obviously, he had a difficult start because he was injured. As soon as he joined, required a bit more time to get to the level we want. You saw tonight, he was one of our dangerous players, making things happen. He's a player that I absolutely love. I've got to remember with Vieira as well, this is his first season. I think we all probably wanted to see a little bit more from him this season because he's clearly talented. You can see that when he gets into positions, he can be a danger. You look at his numbers and they're good, you know, so he's got an end product to him, which, you know, he can score, he can assist. You can see that, but I think what we want to see him is be more of an influence in games rather than just popping up with the odd assist from a set piece or, you know, doing one good thing. You want to see him impacting the game consistently throughout the 90 minutes, and we've probably not seen that from Vieira yet, although I thought yesterday was the game when he looked lively throughout. He always felt like the player who was going to make something happen to me. But you've got to remember, it's his first season, he's adjusting, and I think we've seen enough to suggest that when he's really settled and he's, you know, happy in England, that he's going to be a decent player for Arsenal. So I'm fairly confident that on Vieira, I think there's definitely a player there. I think Arteta really likes him and he's going to work with him. He's going to work hard on him. And I think certainly next season, Vieira could be a very important player for Arsenal, which is good to see. But I thought he played well yesterday. So yeah, fair play to him for that. Okay, player ratings for last night's game. Not too many great ones because I don't think they played very well. Obviously, Turner, I thought, just looked a bag of nerves. Certainly with the ball at his feet. Which is weird because I think Turner's played well this season. Whenever he's come into the side, he's looked pretty assured. But yesterday, it just wasn't his day. Really poor from the goal, the set piece, whatever happened there, the miscommunication, whatever. He should have just claimed that and been clearing it out and get it away. And yeah, he played Arsenal into problems a lot with his sort of passing out from the back. So not his best performance, although he made a couple of decent saves as well. But I'm going to give Turner a 5. White, I'm going to give a 6. Saliba, man of the match for me, I gave an 8. Vieira, I gave a 5. There was a couple of nice touches from Vieira, but he definitely looked nervous. And I'm not surprised. Look, he hasn't played. He's basically sat on the bench since he's arrived in January, kicking his heels. So he's not going to be up to speed, up to rhythm. It's his first game. He's never played alongside Saliba before. So it was always going to be a difficult evening for him. I thought it was poor for the first goal. Him and Turner equally to blame for that. Someone had to be making a decision. But if Turner did call, which I hope he did, given Vieira's reaction, then I'd probably put the blame more on Turner than Vieira, to be honest, because the defender, if you hear the goalkeeper call, you're fully expecting him to come out and claim it and sort out that situation. So I gave Vieira a 5. I gave Zinchenko a 6. I thought his movement was good. He caused some problems. He made a couple of really nice passes, Zinchenko, but he was also a little bit loose in possession. It's a bit of a mixed bag from him. I gave him a 6. Jorginho, I gave a 6. Xhaka, I gave a 6. Jorginho got exposed a couple of times with lack of pace, which I don't really blame him for. I blame the players who were around him. For there was one chance in the first half early on, actually, when the guy went through, and it was just Jorginho basically left on the halfway line with no defenders around him, and then one long ball over the top and they're in. So of course that was going to happen. You just got to make sure you can't leave Jorginho back. It's like basically the last line of defence against a quick attacker. I mean, there's only one winner there, and it's not going to be Jorginho. So I don't really blame him for that situation. It was more the other players around him and their awareness. So I gave him a 6. Xhaka got a 6. Vieira I gave a 7. Nelson and Saka I both gave 5s. I thought neither of them really impacted the game at all. They're always on the fringes of it. And Martinelli I gave a 6, mainly because of that amazing run in the second half, which I think we were all just begging for him to finish off, because it would have been one of the truly great goals. And it was such a shame that he did all that hard work, ran all that way, beat all those players, and then just after he goes around the keeper, the guy gets back and clears it before he can roll it into an empty net. It would have been an absolutely amazing goal. Yeah, that was a real shame. I thought the substitutes made a bit of a difference. Tomiyasu I thought played really well when he came on, which will be important for him because he struggled against Bournemouth at the weekend. But I thought he came on yesterday, was really good. He immediately sort of shut down the threat of Marcus Edwards, and he just basically did exactly what Arteta would have asked for him. I thought it was a good showing for Tomiyasu, and it will do a lot of good, because I'm sure his confidence probably took a little bit of a hit after the Bournemouth game, and so that sort of cameo, that half an hour last night, I think will have done him and Arsenal a lot of good. Okay, so Arsenal heading back now. No Martin Odegaard, that was a worry. He was ill. We know Kieran Tierney didn't even travel because he was ill. Odegaard did travel, but obviously came down with this bug that is going round. Hopefully, fingers crossed, that doesn't become too much of an issue and Arsenal can sort it out. It's not ideal that Odegaard's obviously caught this and then been on the plane with the whole squad. You know, that's a bit of a worry. Hopefully it's not going to be anything too serious. You do get these issues during the season when a sickness bug goes around the squad and around the camp. It's really hard to deal with it because everyone's in such a confined space, in the changing room, in the showers, or on an aeroplane like we saw last night. It's very difficult to, if there is a bug going around, to stop it. And you just got to sort of cross your fingers and hope that not too many people catch it and it can sort of be dealt with pretty quickly. But we'll wait and see if Odegaard is all right to play Fulham on Sunday. We'll wait and see if Tierney's okay to play Fulham. We'll wait and see if anyone else has gone down with illness. Obviously, Gabriel Jesus didn't make the trip. Arsenal decided to leave him in England, which I can understand. Whether Fulham is too early for him again, we'll have to wait and see. I suggest it probably will be, but you never know. And Arsenal, you know, Mikel spoke about it last night. Arsenal are struggling when it comes to forwards. They've got so many injuries there, and they're having to find a way. And they could really do with Jesus or Nketiah back at the moment. They really could, or Trossard as well. So we'll see. Trossard, I think, is probably the closest of the three. Well, certainly the closest between him and Nketiah to coming back. Jesus, obviously, very close. It's just a decision of, you know, is he ready? Do we risk it or not? And we'll wait and see if Arsenal do that. But yeah. Mikel spoke after the game yesterday. I'm not sure exactly what time the quotes are coming out, but there will be some embargo quotes coming out at some point ahead of that game against Fulham, where potentially he will give a little bit more of an update on Gabriel Jesus, so keep an eye out for that. All right, that's it for me. Thank you very much for your time, as always, everyone. Anything you've agreed with, disagreed with, ratings-wise, let me know in the comments below. Have a great Friday, everyone. Have a great start to the weekend. I'll speak to you soon.